Alright, see if we can win another die roll. It's a good start. This is a bad follow-up. This hand's not very good, but we're going to keep it. I'm going to bottom anything that's not a third land. I guess this hand's fine. If I hit lands 3 and 4 on time, this hand is fine. However, my deck only has 21 lands in it, so like our chances of hitting lands 3 and 4 on time are not amazing. This hand's also not very good against Deafening Clarion, which is a very real consideration out of my opponent's deck. Hey, look, it's a Jeskai mirror match. They have 1 Syncopate and 1 Negate in their main deck. See if they have one of those here. They also have 4 Revitalize, so this could just be a game 3. And they have a counterspell for this. Things get ugly for us real fast. My hand's not very good. My hand's not very fast. My hand has a lot of strong cards in it, but it's not particularly fast is its issue. Yep. They're on 3 Ionize, no Sabotage, so there is a chance that they have a counterspell this turn. Attack first. We get the 4th land on time, so that's good for us. Not be super surprised to get Clarion next turn. Maybe this is a follow-up will be good enough. You know what? I wonder if I'm supposed to just do this. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to do this. This is a big turn, so I can either do this plus this, or I could do this, or I could Heroic Reinforcements, smack them for 4-9. And then, like, the following turn, this will be 4, 5, 6, and it could be 7, 8, 9 again with this. I think I just want to do this. I think I made a mistake last turn playing the second Benalia out, but like I can't like let a mistake make another mistake. The upside to playing the Marshal out last turn is that next turn it would get powered up by this, but then I don't get to attack with this for the turn, so I kind of like lose the value off the other one. They have another sweeper. I'm probably not going to be able to beat it in game 1 without drawing Adanto Vanguard like ASAP. Adanto is just like one of our better cards in this matchup, and I didn't have it early. Although History and Heroic Reinforcements are like nothing to scoff at, right? My next turn is probably like Marshal, smack for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. They have a Lava Coil. Fight with fire, sure. Land. Huh. Okay. So, if I do this... I hit them for 4, and then I have 4, 5, 6, 7 in play, but they're at 8. Whereas this way hits them to 10, and then next turn hits them for 4 down to 6. All my lines are kind of medium against another Clarion. I think I'm going to play History of Benalia. getting this in under an Ionize this turn seems valuable. I don't think I want to play this out. They're dead in 2 regardless, right? Like I attack for 4 next turn and then the next turn. So I think I'm going to try and play around a sweeper here a smidge. Can't really afford to do that. Like, yeah, by not committing more to the board, I like make myself worse against things like Revitalize and spot removal potentially. But I guess I have Marshal like add more pressure to the table next turn too, which is kind of nice. I think I'd ideally like to go Marshal plus Loxodon in the same turn, so that way I can like have this be 4 toughness, so that way it gets to dodge their Deafening Clarion. You only have 1 Lava Coil and 1 Fight with Fire left that can kill something with 4 toughness. Should be ideal. Sure. So they're definitely getting to Clarion me next turn. Alright, so I'm 100% getting Clarion next turn. I could potentially get Expansioned Clarion next turn, is the real disgusting part. If they don't have the expansion, I could go Marshal into Loxodon off of this, this, and this. And then they're pretty far behind. Because the Clarion's not going to kill my board. I think I'm going to do that. It's like a high risk, high reward play. They have all the stuff here. I'm probably not winning. So let's just do this. It's like loses to another piece of spot removal, but their deck has a lot of clunk in it post board, so they have second Clarion, expansion, or spot removal spell here. We're probably just toast, but it is what it is. I think this gives me a better chance to win than like holding my cards back and just like letting myself get swept. Yeah, it looks like I'm getting expansion explosion here. And all their spells get doubled up next turn, so they're gonna gain 6, draw 2. Yeah, if I don't draw heroic reinforcements in the next 2 turns, I'm gonna concede. That's a land. I'm gonna go ahead and like I said, my opponent had no idea how to change their deck back. There's just 0% we could win. Let's figure out how I'm sideboarding. I think I might want... So this opponent has Lyras in their sideboard, so I might want some Conclave Tribunals in my deck post-board. I'm going to trim a couple of Marshals because they play into the sweepers. I'm going to bring a couple of Conclave Tribunals in, actually. I'm just going to make that swap, I think. Because the Marshal's pretty bad against those cards anyways. They're asking me if they can sideboard now. Yes, you can sideboard. Oh. Just make sure this kept my changes. White red versus Jeskai. I put in 3 Conclave Tribunal. Got it. We got lucky last match. The correct person was put on the play for game 2 through variance, so hopefully I get correctly assigned to be on the play for game 2 here. If Arena randomly decides that my opponent gets put on the play, we concede the game, and then try another game to try and get me on the play, and we keep doing that until the correct person is put on the play, because Arena neither supports actual best of 3, and it doesn't support choosing who's playing and drawing in best of 1. Just a true cluster. So post board, my opponent's getting 2 Lava Coils, a Seal Away, a Cleansing Nova, and probably 2 Lyra Dawnbringers and an Invoke the Divine, and they're probably going to trim some of their top end of their counter spells. So losing game 1 there's probably a pretty big letdown for us. We get Experimental Frenzy on our side of the board, on our side of the post board though, which is very good for us. I go first. This hand is great. I would love to keep. Stone Quarry, kind of a tilt, but if this was a Plains, we wouldn't be able to cast this, right? And if it wasn't a white source, we wouldn't be able to play both of these off of these 2 lands, so. Say hello to my little friend. This card's very good in this matchup, unless they need to exactly seal away. Which I'm sure means this is about to get sealed away next turn, but that's just kind of how life goes, right? Okay, sada, sada. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yep, welcome to Thunderdome. I guess I have Conclave Tribunal also lets me get these back, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna put my Dauntless Bodyguard on Skymarcher Aspirant here. That one gets to live through the Cleansing Nova next turn. Or the Deafening Clarion, whatever that sweeper's called. Yeah, if they have Seal Away into Clarion, we're probably dead to rights unless this Experimental Frenzy just goes insane. Which, to be in Experimental Frenzy's defense, sometimes it just goes insane. This is the Stone Cold Nuts from them on the play. Or on the draw, I guess. So they get a 2-for-1-ish. History of Benalia is not bad for us. We'll fight the good fight with our tiny white aggressive creatures. Grrr. Unfortunately, we didn't get to flip this. So we need to draw a 4th land to actually cast this Experimental Frenzy. Deal. It's a good exchange for us. No land drop is fantastic for us. I'd like to do this. I would like to do this. Yeah, just get this resolved while we can. Another Frenzy on top. That's a good one to draw next turn. So even if they haven't evoked the Divine, we get to just re-up it. Land Ixalan's Binding would be tough for us here. Well, I guess that's not even true. I have Conclave Tribunal. Durf. So live by the Frenzy, die by the Frenzy. They had a good curve, but they missed their 4th land drop, and our curve was also good. This was a turn behind, but that was fine because I had stuff to do. I like this rock and a hard place pause. Everybody says there could be heroic reinforcements on top of my deck somewhere, so let's play some cards. Found another land. Yep. Yeah, just pass here. Nothing else we can do. So this is subtle mana. But I'm definitely attacking into subtle mana, even if they have it up, because I want to flip my Legion's Landing next turn and get another land here. They're mousing over my critters, so it seems like they might have another piece of spot removal here. Spot removal is much better for me than Subtle Wreckage. Gives us a chance to like hit a silly sequence off the top. You got me. Do you have a Lava Coil as well? You do not. That's good for me. That's kind of awkward. Wow, I wonder if they have an Excellence Binding. That's a weird negate if they don't have an Excellence Binding or an Invoked Divine. Maybe the pause last turn was they hadn't invoked the Divine for the Experimental Frenzy. Which, like, because we have this other one in our hand, that negate actually works out incredibly for us. Even if they have a way to answer this one. So, countering that without a way to kill this would be an incredibly strange play. I'm gonna leave the Knight untapped to attack, but I'm gonna tap the Hunted Witness. This picks back up Adanto, that's real good for us. There's also an Adanto on top of our deck, which is great. The Conclave Tribunal seem pretty reasonable. I might even want the 4th, honestly. They have Ixalan's Binding in their deck, too. Although I guess Ixalan's Binding is a reason to not play the 4th copy. Just because, like, I don't want to get caught with a bunch of them in my hand with one underneath the Binding, because I don't have another way to take a Binding off the table. I wonder if they have a counterspell here. Syncopate for 3. I'm gonna decline to pay for this because there's an Adanto on top of my deck, and like rather than just like get that back, I can like play this, potentially draw more cards this turn. Yeah, like that. Perfect. That one, please. I would like to shock myself in case there's a 1-drop on top. There is not, so we shocked ourselves for little value. So Cleansing Nova, Deafening Clarion, both just like laughable here. Like Cleansing Nova literally kills this, and this replaces itself with a 1/1. Same thing with Clarion. Yes, they technically deal 4 to me, but like, whatever. Oh no, not Jeffrey. I guess if they have a seal away here, they're not dead, because they can seal away the Adanto. They shocked in, so like they must have something. That's a pretty good one. That one beats seal away.
You should be proud to have come so far. Deliver us to victory.
Deliver us to victory.
I understand you are in need of support. Strength is born of struggle.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I'm asking my opponent if they want the play or the draw, because if they want the play, we have to start over, even though this hand is nuts. Like, I have to like, potentially, like, not keep a good hand because they're supposed to be on the play. Awkward. So we have to start over and re-challenge until my opponent gets on the play, because they correctly want to be on the play. I'm excited to look at an unkeepable 7 into an unkeepable 6 now that we had to restart. I think I'm keeping this. It's much worse than the hand that we had in the other game that we had to take a do-over in, but Double Frenzy is hard to pass up. Need to draw some lands here. Perfect. Maybe get to like bait a counterspell with heroic reinforcements before all said and done. Would love to draw another 1-drop here. Adanto Vanguard, also a good one. We're going to go ahead and attack with Dauntless Bodyguard first. So this way, if they have a seal away, they're encouraged to use it on this before they know we have an Adanto Vanguard. Perfect. One of those little sequencing things that really matters. But like, if I play the Adanto Vanguard pre-combat, there's a chance, like, my opponent's just like, oh, I'm going to take the 2 and save this for the Adanto next turn. This is one of the harder cards for them to kill. They need to Ixalan's Binding it or seal it away. They only have 3 copies of this, and they only have 2 bindings. So we'd love to draw a 1 or a 2-drop next turn into an untapped land the following turn. 3-drop next turn also works, like History of Benalia would be great. Heroic reinforcements, it's not terrible. Let's see if they have another seal away here, if they just have a Revitalize. The client stopping like they have something to be doing. We do have another seal away, yep. Alright, we hit a land next turn. We're gonna do stuff for the next couple turns. We did board up to 22 lands. It's worth noting too, like we boarded in this mountain, right? So this would have been a 1-lander without the 22nd land on the sideboard. What if my opponent wanted to path to exile me? I would allow them to play that card in this specific situation. Wouldn't call a judge. Just like, yo dog, it's fine. Just path me. They have a removal spell here, and they're debating if they want to kill my 2-1. Yeah, I think that's... tank it. They must have a counter spell too, right? That's why they're, like, in the tank there. At least it wasn't another 4-drop, I guess. We might be able to miss this turn, but if they play a Planeswalker, we have to hit next turn. And we need them to, like, not have a negate if they have a Teferi. If they, like, go Teferi plus and have negate, the game's probably over. But if they're just, like, sitting there spinning their targets with removal spells, it's real good for us. That was the worst possible. It was neither a land nor a castable spell. Yep, opponent just gets a complete free roll here. There's a chance these frenzies could pull us through this game, but I think I needed to hit that turn to have a chance here. The fact they just, like, got a window to gas up probably puts it away. It's Magic sometimes. And again, just, like, feels real bad that, like, I had to, like, cancel a game where we had, like, a really good 7 into, like, this kind of mediocre 7 that then didn't work out because it was mediocre and had a chance to not work out. But that's just competitive Magic Arena, I guess. Application's not really built for competitive Magic yet. I assume this application is going to be updated because of... this will be updated because of the Magic Premier League by January. But as of right now, it doesn't really support, like, what this tournament's trying to do. Thus all of the workarounds and the smash.gg and all that jazz. What do you got? Am I dead? Scale of 1 to dead, where are we at? Can I draw an untapped land? Hey, it wasn't even... I thought for sure when we finally drew the 4th land, it was just going to be the Stone Quarry. I was just going to hate myself. Just like, womp womp. Honestly, I hope they let this resolve and they settle me. That would be the best possible, one of the best possible case scenarios here is just like settle the wreckage, get 3 lands, like sign me up. They could just be planning to like draw 2 untapped Clarion. They haven't played any of that card yet, and they're 14 cards into their deck, so they could just have a Sorcery Speed Sweeper. Okay, field. This is one of the hands where the settle in that situation doesn't quite feel terrible. Any land or 3-mana creature would be very reasonable for us next turn, or 3-mana card, so we could go like land goes Ajani, down tick, heroic reinforcements. I'm gonna save these till after we play the other cards out of our hand, obviously. Like 1, 2, 3-mana creature or an untapped land are all like reasonable draws next turn with the way our hand's set up. Alright. This one even lives through a sweeper, which is sweet. I assume we're gonna see them like ditch a land and do this. They can also have like an expansion explosion for a few. Although expansion explosion is quite possibly one of the cards they trim in this matchup. That card's real clunky. Alright, they're up to 4 cards, but like, unless they have a bunch of counter spells here, we're not in a terrible spot. We've got 7 lands out of our deck at this point. So there's 43 cards and 15 of them are lands. So we've got a bunch of spells in there. Honestly, if we got settled for a second time, it wouldn't even be the worst. It would thin most of the lands out of our deck, and then the frenzies go extra crazy. Frenzy really punishes settle in a big way. I wonder what win conditions they brought in. Their deck's kind of mopey, so like if they just like spin their tires and then don't have counter spells for these, we're gonna be in a pretty reasonable spot. That's a shock. Harari Conjecture, okay. You're getting back, gets back an instant, sure. Revitalize, sure. So what are we casting for 3? Do we have Deafening Clarion? Sure. I'm just gonna do this into Frenzy and get this result. Wow, super punished for playing my 1 mana spell. There's a History of Benalia on top of my deck. Hoping the dodge excellence binding here. Yep. So that all went far worse than expected. Just like actual worst case scenario in every direction. Maybe I should have let on the Ajani. Leading on the Ajani there better for me, probably.
It is good to see you, my friend. Be strong.
I think I hang tight on this because they might Clarion just these 2 next turn. And I don't have a lot of resources left since my experimental frenzies are locked out at this point. So they're gonna get to gain 6, draw 2. Cute. Okay, so they did not board out their expansions, and they're going to get to gain 12, draw 4. Looks like they're trying to maneuver the stack here. The stack can be a little bit awkward when it gets this many things on it. So, is there a Clarion in my future? This thing ults at 7, right? And it gets just like makes endless cats. Yeah, not surprised to see this. That's why I waited on the Ajani. Or I waited on the History of Benalia. We have a negate. They showed us negate last game. Two more turns from ulting.
See in yourself what I see in you.
See in yourself what I see in you. You're so inspirational, Ajani. Burning the negate on the History of Benalia is pretty good there for us, because this gives us a better chance to see a Conclave Tribunal resolve and pick our experimental frenzies, put our experimental frenzies back on the menu at some point. We're definitely behind from this position, but we're not out of the game just yet, depending on the quality of their draws. They're mousing over my stuff a lot, which could just mean, like, they have an expansion explosion, they're going to kill a Ajani with it. They can deal 6 with an explosion here. Could also mean they're just, like, not familiar with his text box. He's not super popular. Explosion. Alright. Need Conclave Tribunal this turn to get our frenzy back online. I think the turn I played that frenzy out was wrong. I think I should have played the Ajani that turn to try and bait something like a binding, because I know they have access to them. Like the frenzy wasn't even very good the turn I played it. So like waiting a turn wouldn't have been the end of the world. Advantage bar firmly on the other side of the board at this point. I don't necessarily have any counterspells left in their deck post board though, so like there's a chance that if we get this going, we could do some stuff. Yep, I'll close the game out real quick. I'm just gonna go ahead and pack it in. Game's opponent.